Hello for all participants, for online participants, and for Nia John. Hello Nia.
Hello everyone.
Maybe we have to wait for 5 or 10 minutes because in Indonesia we have prime time for Friday, so we have to wait for offline participant.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Datang untuk Pamukti dan Pamukti berarti dari Jenderal Sudirman ya? Unsud. Terus juga saya menyapa Ibu Indah Lestari dari Universitas Diponegoro. Terima kasih Bu, Pak sudah ikut menyemarakan kegiatan workshop ini dengan menjadi partisipan yang aktif. Pada seluruh partisipan, para peserta workshop ini, sampaikan pada seluruh peserta untuk segera mengirimkan short presentation-nya yang berupa PPT agar kita bisa sama-sama saling belajar dari hasil independent project para peserta yang sudah membuat secara mandiri. Pada jam 13.05, berarti 13.05 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat, sekitar 2 menit lagi ya. Send a chat on the chat box. He will leave for this workshop because he have others meeting at 1993. Okay, Pak. We will give further information in the group if we have other assignment or information. Start our workshop for the last day. Good afternoon for all participants. I'm back. I'm Sani Triutami. Will be your moderator for today. And for today, the rundown for this workshop is Nia will still in as a speaker for this day today. She will give a live session coding to create the animation for moving visualization data. After that, we will continue with Q&A, the last Q&A with Nia. Then, after we will have time for sharing our independent project among us. So for the participant who will not apply the independent project, please to share please share your independent project. Maybe we will choose 3 or 4 participants to share his or her project, and after that. We will share about, we will give you the name of the best participant and best presenter. Oh, no, best participant. After that, yeah, the closing statement for this workshop. Okay, Nia.
Hi.
Time is short for now. Maybe for present the live coding session again. Okay.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Welcome everyone again. Good afternoon over there. Yeah. So, like Sani said, I will be presenting the final workshop session today. It's going to be shorter than yesterday, so don't worry, not as much information. Today we'll just be going over how to create an animation using the Ocean Parcels results file in Jupyter Notebook. So that should help you kind of create kind of nice animations that you can put in presentations, or just kind of have a look at how the particles are moving throughout time. So I'll just begin by sharing my screen as usual. And then here you go. Okay, so here we are back in the Indonesia plastic project file. If you go to the Google Drive folder that I kind of uploaded data to yesterday, you'll find a new notebook. So that's notebook 3. And this should take you to the second notebook. Hang on. This should take you to the third notebook. So it should look like this. It should be called plotting an animation of your results. First things first, though, I understand that someone was having a problem yesterday and still having a problem with writing the results file on this first notebook. I've looked online and tried to kind of find the problem. If you're having this issue, what I'd like you to do is in this code cell, in this cell here, put this line of code, this number 9. So output_file.close, and then open bracket, close bracket, and then run it and see if that helps. If it doesn't help, let me know, and we can work on it some more later. But yes, going back to the workshop today is plotting an animation of our results. So we'll just go through it like yesterday. I'll go back through kind of the data structure of the results file, and then we'll go through the output, the video output. So yeah, so if has anyone got any questions before we start? Can everyone access the third notebook first of all? Yeah, I guess that everyone can. Cool. Okay. So first thing we'll do, like all of our scripts in Python and Jupyter Notebook, we need to load in our modules here. So we can just run this cell, and this runs fine. Like I said, if you get an error here, it might be because one of your modules, you don't have that particular module on your machine. You'll need to install that through the command line if you don't have that module. So now we go on to creating the output. So the output that we're kind of hoping to get is this down here. And this will give you just a video of particles throughout time, and you can see them here moving through the ocean. Let's keep that playing a bit longer. And of course, if you make your model run longer, the video will then be longer. Okay. So the first thing I want you, so we're just going to go through kind of each line by line, like we did with the plots yesterday, and I'll kind of explain to you what's happening in each one. There's one particular tricky bit, but we'll get to that when we come to it. So first here, we're importing our results file that we got yesterday. Like I said, if you don't have a results file, you can download mine from the Google Drive just for you to work with this morning or kind of this afternoon for you. So yeah, so you load your results file into a variable called data X array. Just like the static plots we were plotting yesterday, you need to sort out a time variable. So you need to put the output dt the same as your first notebook. So if I go back here, the output dt needs to be the same as here. Now this is to be able to create a kind of sensible time range, one that makes sense chronologically, so kind of in time. This function here is creating a list of numbers, kind of evenly spaced numbers, and taking the minimum time value as the minimum value, and the maximum time value as the maximum time plus one, just to be safe, and then increasing it by the output time step, so that's 6 hours. So then you've got a range of numbers there going up, increasing every 6 hours. We're then calling the shapefile to be able to plot the countries. So just saying where this shapefile is, and this is in this file within the file that we're working in, and that will help us plot all the kind of country and coast boundaries in Indonesia. Now we get on to actually setting up the figure. So this figure here is, again, exactly the same as before. So you're setting up just a figure that's the size 5 by 5. You're setting the projection to Plat Car, and then you're setting up the axes as well. So this is exactly the same as the last kind of 3 or 4 figures we were talking about yesterday. So as you can see, as you're building more figures, it starts to become easier because you're actually just using a lot of the same code, same as the time range and output dt here. So again, like yesterday, we're going to set up the grid lines. You can change the color of these grid lines if you want, and also change the transparency. The draw labels true kind of variable here is to be able to draw the x and y labels of the grid. You're then setting your limits for your kind of extent of your map. Like I said, you can make any notes on any of these notebooks that you want. So for example, you can say this is for setting the limits, or kind of any notes that would help. So yeah, so you've got kind of setting the x lim and y lim, we call it, so x limits and y limits. We then plot the important stuff. We're getting onto the data and we plot the data. So here we, like yesterday, creating a index of where all the time series are. So the first one we want to plot is obviously the first number in the time series. So we've got 0, because like I said yesterday, in Python, to get the first number from an array, you index 0. So here we're finding out where in the data set of the kind of time variable in our results file can we find the first time step. So like I said, here's indices of the data where time is 0. We then plot that data. We then plot the data using this index. So we're using the scatter plot again, like yesterday. And our x value is where the lon variable in our data set is 0, because these are the indices that we found. Then our y variable is the same, but for lat. So the variable in our results file, that is the latitude, we're finding the first time value here. And then just like the scatter plot we did yesterday, we've got size and face color. Oh, I can't see this over here. We've got size and face color. You're welcome to change these to kind of make the plot your own, and kind of have a play around with it. We then plot the coastlines to be able to give the plot some context and for you to be able to kind of see where your particles are actually going in relation to the land. So here we load in our shapefile, and this F name here, remember that we called up here. So that's what we're wanting to find. So yeah, so this is no, okay. So this is calling that shapefile and finding it in our file. And then we're adding it to the plot. We're adding it to the axes, which is this, so that we add geometries. We call the shapefile we just found, say which projection it's in this case it's plat car, and then we can also change the edge color and the face color. Again, you're more than welcome to play around with these and make the plot your own. Now we can set the title, again like yesterday. And you can get the time variable and change it to a string, so change it to a word for you to be able to plot. And again, this time range list of numbers that we created, we're calling the first one. And then the title will be set title particles at the first time step, as you can see here. No, that's not actually the first time step. So the first one will be at the first time step. So for anyone kind of eagle-eyed who was paying attention yesterday should notice that all of this is the same as the scatter plot we were doing yesterday, or at least very similar. So if we go into the notebook we were using yesterday, all of this stuff is the same. This is because, oh, I can't get back. There you go. This is because in Python, when you want to create an animation, you only animate the things, the elements you want to animate. You don't, the code doesn't completely change. So it's quite a nice way of animating a plot, actually. So this is now where we're going to create the animation and move the data kind of around our screen. So we're creating a function here called animate, and kind of the animation variable, so the thing we want to be changing is called I. So then within this function, we need to put everything that we want to move kind of within this function. So everything that we've written here, if we want to move it, we need to write it again, but this time with I. So let me just kind of break that down in more detail. So this is a good place to kind of think about what you want from your animation. So I would say, right, I know that I want my title to change because I want it to reflect at which time step the animation is running at. So I take this here because this is where I take these two lines because this is where I've defined the title and where the time step is. And I say, instead of 0 here, so instead of calling the first number, I'm going to change that to I. Now this is to allow when it loops over for the time, it reads every single time step along the way, not just the first one. The same here. So I want I would like the scatter plot to change, so where all the particles are in time. So here I'm creating a new time ID, so to find the indices of the data, but this time, instead of finding the indices of the data of the first time step, I want it to find the indices of the data at every time step through the loop. So then I replace that 0 with I here. So I put that I there. I then write the scatter plot kind of as I would, but you put this kind of set offsets here. And that allows the particles to be offset from its original position each time. So you're not kind of getting all the time steps on all of the video constantly. So yeah, so it's slightly different. So you've got title, set text, and scatter, set offset. So when you're doing the animations, quite often it's set something, and you'll be able to find those options online if you want to kind of go further in creating different animations. So now we've set up kind of what functions are kind of going to be moving and what elements are going to be moving in our map. We can now actually start to write the animation. So this function here called func animation, we've loaded this in up here, as you can see, from the matplotlib animation module, which is a very common, matplotlib is a very common plotting module in Python. So then we've got fig. So this is kind of our whole figure that we've set up all along here. So we want to animate this figure. We want to use this function to animate it. So kind of these elements we want to move. And then how many frames is kind of how many times do you want it to move. So I said here, I want the frames to move for the length of the whole time range, because I want the whole thing. If you wanted half, for example, you could just divide this by 2. And so this is completely up to you. But I think it's always good to see the full time range that you've modeled to kind of identify any issues. The interval then is the gap between each frame. So I think the smaller the number, the quicker the animation will go. So now this is a bit of a strange function, and this is because it doesn't always work on my computer, the kind of animation. So what you can do is you can try to run this code block without these two things in it. If you get an error, like so, it might not give me an error now because it's already found it. Yeah, it's probably not going to give me an error. But if you do get an error and it's something to do with not being able to find FFmpeg, you need to put this into your code. And you'll need to replace this with where FFmpeg resides on your computer. So for example, for me, I'll show you how I search for it. So I'll go into kind of my computer. I search FFmpeg on my Mac. So this is now going into kind of the Anaconda and the different modules. And so I kind of found FFmpeg here and here. I think either is fine. And I would just get where it is. Where it is on my computer to be able to direct Python to find it. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're having trouble with that, let me know, and I can help you. But yeah, so then FFmpeg, that's what we want. So that's basically kind of giving Python a tool to help write the animation, and for some reason sometimes it has trouble finding it itself because it's kind of within lots of files. You can have trouble looking for it. So then you identify the file name that you want to save it as. So I've just called this this is from an old script, so 6 months test. So I can say marine debris workshop video, for example. And then the DPI, so like we were talking about yesterday, the dots per inch equates to the video quality. So 300 is a pretty good one. So unless you really want a super high resolution image, or whether it's too high resolution kind of for your file system, you can put that down. But this then saves the animation to your file. You've then got a HTML function here, and that's just to be able to write it in the notebook. So you can watch it here. So that's the whole kind of code block on how you write the animation. And I'll run it now. So this will take a little bit of time to run, because animations are quite computationally kind of heavy. It takes a bit of time. So while this is running, there we go, and that's kind of finished now. So I can go into my file system. And then I should have the video I've just saved, marine debris workshop. You can see it's nicely high resolution because I identified that dots per inch, sorry. And that is running the animation. So you can see the red particles here. You could also put a legend on, like we discussed yesterday, if you want. And then you can see the time increasing there. I think we only run it for about a week, so, or maybe 3 weeks. So that explains why it's actually quite a short animation. So if I try and here you go. So then this and that's it. That's kind of how you plot an animation from your Ocean Parcels results file. And yeah, so like I said, it was going to be a short walkthrough today, but I was wondering if anybody had any questions about that or anything we've discussed over the past 3 days. I'll stop sharing for now.
Question from participant Kunia. Okay.
So save it as a GIF and it works. Great. Yeah, that's an option as well.
Okay, is there anything else? We still wait for the participant. Maybe want to try write down the question because we still have Nia in the Zoom meeting, so maybe it would be the best to give question directly to Nia. From Danang, can we replace MPG4 with GIF or
Yes.
not?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can do MP4 or you can do GIF. Yeah, so it's up to you.
Okay, there's another question. Okay, Nia, maybe you can continue.
Okay, so that's it for me. I was just wondering if anyone had any questions. I was only going to present how to do the animation this morning. Hello, I can't hear anything. I'm not sure if. Hello?
Nia, maybe you want to see some of participant projects, the independent projects?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Is there any volunteer or participant who want to share your independent projects progress? Or we just can choose from committee? Wait, the chat room must pop. Okay, the still question from Fikri.
Can we type FMPEG with extension or just FMPEG only? I think it will work just if you just type FFmpeg. If it doesn't work with the extension, just try it without. But it should work with the extension as well. I think I've done that before.
Okay. Anything else? What question? Dari Nia? Okay, maybe if we don't have volunteer for participant who want to share.
Excuse me, can I ask to Mia?
Okay, yes.
Sorry, Nia, I want to ask about the task about yesterday. It's okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I will share my screen first. So.
Okay.
Wait. Can you see my screen, Mia?
Yes. Yeah.
When I want to change something in here, always hear me. What's happened?
So it says here you've got no module named Parcels. So,
yeah.
Have you downloaded Ocean Parcels?
Yeah, I already download here. Wait, I will show you. I download and here I already. Can you see?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So if you go to your Anaconda screen, so that the green circle at the bottom.
Okay. Here.
Yeah. Oh, it should be working. Why isn't that? Have you opened Jupyter Notebook through clicking the launch button here?
I will share again.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, which box here?
Yeah. So how did you open Jupyter Notebook? Was it through this? Yeah.
I already opened here. I will see. Okay, and I try to here. It's okay. But if I change anything here or here, always appear here.
Yeah. So what have you changed? You said you when you change something.
Maybe I will change here.
Okay.
I will change this number here.
Yeah.
100
okay.
Maybe you need to. As after I run, it's like here.
So I don't think so. It can't see the Parcels download or the Parcels module. So I think if you go to Anaconda again, sorry.
Anaconda,
just,
okay.
Yeah, just double checking, and then click Environments on the far left panel.
Here.
Yeah, and then search Parcels.
So.
Okay, you do have it.
Yeah, I have.
So I wonder why. Have you tried to kind of restart Anaconda? So close everything.
I have restarted it, turn off, but still, it's okay. trying, but okay,
Okay.
thank you, Nia. Okay.
Maybe you might have to re-download Parcels if it can't see it. But I was trying to think other than that, or maybe try and open it on, instead of the Pi3 Parcels, open it on the base root bit. Yeah, maybe a re-download will help.
Okay, I will start it first.
Okay.
Thank you, Nia.
No problem.
Two or three, and if you have time, Mia, maybe you can make suggestion or make a review of the project. So I think Gelby can present one. Gelby, can you present your project? Yes. You can share it by yourself. And the second, I think after Gelby, I think we choose one. We choose wait a second. Pak Riam Badriana. Is it here? Pak Riam? Yeah, you can present after Gelby. So the first one is Gelby. Please, Gelby, you can share it by yourself from Zoom.
Hello, good afternoon.
Ania, can you hear his voice?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah. Please continue, Gelby.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to present my independent project in front of such a distinguished audience. And I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Galbi Muhammad Faid from Commitment Research Group, and I'm an undergraduate student at Faculty of Environment Sciences, Pajajaran. And first of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Nia Jones for her presentations. There are a lot of new knowledge that I've got from last 3 days. And this is my independent project for academic knowledge exchange, marine debris modeling using ocean parcels. Okay, and this is my area of interest, which is located in Java Sea. And actually, there is not any particular reason why did I choose this location. I just wanted to know that whether this syntax of ocean parcel will work or not on the other area except Sulawesi. And my initial point coordinates is, as we can see in our screen. So this is the result that I got, and the left figure is the particles start and end points. And the right figure is the particles trajectories. And the time step that I use for this model is 30 days with, the duration is 30 days and the time step is 24 hours. And this is my result from the modeling. The first particles that release, and when it reached 700 hours since release, it travels roughly 1600 kilometers. And the right one is distance traveled. It's similar, I think. And please correct me if I'm wrong. This is the results, and this is a little bit my discussion for my project. And I think there are 2 points that I want to share. First one is particle movement is affected by ocean currents, and there's a similarity between surface current in figure A, which is surface current and sea surface temperature during west monsoon in Indonesia. And the right figures, which is particle movement that I've got from the modeling. And as you can see, the surface current in west monsoon is eastward from the South China Sea to Arafura Sea. And the same thing happened in my ocean parcel modeling. So I think that indicates that this model is quite accurate, I think, and I hope that's a good point for me and for us. And that's it. That's my independent projects. And as I mentioned before, that the FFmpeg, I don't know why it didn't work for me, so I changed the save type to GIF, and it works, and this is the result. The extension is GIF, and that's for me. Thank you very much, and good afternoon from Indonesia.
Thank you, Kelby. Nice presentation, and I think you learn so fast right now. Maybe before Pak Ria prepare the presentation, maybe Nia can have comment or something, or
Yeah.
Kelby.
Yeah, great presentation. That was really impressive in terms of how much you picked up over the past 3 days. I appreciate that it's been a lot of information, but you really used the model well, and especially bringing in the ocean currents in the discussion. You're really thinking kind of how a modeler would think in terms of using a particle tracking model. I would say you could maybe, to improve, you can maybe include a bit more information in your presentation about your model. For example, how many particles did you model, and also for how long, and that'll give just a little bit more information about what you did. But other than that, it was great, and kind of a really great springboard maybe into kind of other questions that you have about the region. So yeah, well done, amazing.
Next presenter, Pak Riam. Yeah, you can present from your desk. And also, if I don't missing, but Nia has sent you her email in the first day. Maybe you can email her if you have any trouble or question in the model, right, Nia? Yeah, the second is Pak Muhammad Riam Rajana, please. Mariam.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Young Jones. So, in this session, actually, I just want to share about my individual task. So, I chose this one. I think the debris of Sriwijaya SG-182 accident. So, this one is plan actually happened in Indonesia. So, I will show you about related to the debris model. This one just training overview. I will not explain about it. And for the background, actually, you can see last year, actually in January. So there's some accident happened with the Sriwijaya plant. If you can see in here, so the plan should be flight from Jakarta to Pontianak in Borneo here, but somehow in the 9th January the plan missed. So just something happened, and if the plan crashed, it should be there's some marine debris occurred in this location. And I tried to make the simulation using the ocean parcels. So yesterday at the first day we already studied how to download data from ICOM. and I use this one our data and this setting. I put one source and 4 point to see in this location. And then this one is the result. If I see the bearing debris from the source, you can see there's it moved from here to this one, and you can see the trajectory length like 70 kilometers from the source point. And I tried to use another input. So the first one, this one I use as the first model, and this one we use the final grid for the it's still from the HiCom, but we try to nesting it. And you can see, the difference since in this second simulation the input has a final resolution. So if you see in here, this is the first simulation, and this one is the result for the second simulation. Yeah, this was just the summary, but yeah, this one just my individual assignment. So thank you for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. Maybe Mia, you want to say something about this case, because I think this is a special case because he modeled about the bridge from the flight, right, in Indonesia. Thank you. Please give your comments here.
Yes, really, really impressive, really great, well done, great presentation, and really interesting kind of application, and something that also gets used in real life. Recently, there was a plane crash here in North Wales in the UK, and a particle tracker model was used to kind of find the debris. So that's kind of a real method that's used, and the way you kind of went above and beyond what we learned in the in the workshop, and kind of plotted the different things, and kind of really thought kind of what other applications you could apply this method to was really great. Yeah, excellent. That's kind of all I can say, really.
Okay, thank you, Nia. And anyone who wants to present in front of Nia? I think no one from online participants. Yes, Nia, I think it's enough for today, and we really appreciate your time in the 3 days workshop, Nia. So I think this is just, I think with the online workshop is really difficult because we can touch each other in hands-on, but based on the independent project that they made, it's really great for the participants to know for the introduction of the Python. So please give applause to Nia before we close it. Before we close, maybe you can say something, Nia, for closing statement. Please, Nia.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I really enjoyed presenting. I wish I could be there in Indonesia and not here in North Wales to work with you on it. But this is definitely the next best thing. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and you've asked so many interesting questions, and yeah, kind of taught me a bit about ocean parcels as well in terms of the questions you've been asking. So I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, just good luck to everyone kind of going forward and using the model in Python. And yeah, my email, I can drop my email in the chat, and if you want to contact me after this workshop, please feel free to do so. But yeah, my Twitter and LinkedIn were also in the slides that I shared in the Google Drive as well. So yeah, please feel free to get in contact. But yeah, thank you. I can't hear you, by the way. I don't know if you're speaking.
I have a photo session here. So please open your please the participants can open your cam. Please oh. Nah, kita foto bareng. Yeah. Please, for the participants can open your cam and also we can screenshot to make a photo session. Okay, please, operator, can take a picture. Slide 1, okay. Slide 2, okay. You can also hide and say that because I have a mask, I can say something in my mode. The third slide, okay. The fourth slide, okay. Okay. Thank you for participant and keep close to Nia and all. Okay, Nia, you can left if you have another role. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. See you.
Goodbye, bye.
Bye. Okay, I can go back to Indonesian language because my English is not so good right now because I'm not native. So for the last session, I think I will give my my microphone to Sunny because there is one session for now. Is the best. Yes, it's time to announce the best participant because we still wait for the independent projects. I think it's 1 week is enough. 1 minggu mungkin sudah cukup ya untuk independent projects. And after that we will announce also for the best presenter. So for now, best participant is for 2 persons, and for best presenters also for 2 persons in the next week. We will announce by WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Ya, kembali lagi kepada saya. Terima kasih Pak Noel untuk ngelit langsung. Sebentar. Oke, selanjutnya. Setelah presentasi dari beberapa partisipan terpilih, kemudian untuk teman-teman partisipan dimohon mengisi daftar hadir dan feedback yang akan dikirim linknya di Zoom Room. Dan setelah mengisi daftar hadir, kita akan mengumumkan best partisipan hasil pemilihan dari komite, dari panitia workshop. Akan ada 2 pemenang terpilih. Semuanya apakah masih hadir ya? Jadi pemenang pertama best partisipan dari kegiatan workshop ini adalah online adalah Bapak Erik dari University MCQ, Pak Erik Sugianto. Diharapkan untuk Pak Erik bisa menampilkan, bisa open kamera. Nah, karena dari panitia akan memberikan sertifikat digital. Dan best partisipan untuk offline partisipan yaitu dari Kak Gelbi yang tadi mempresentasikan. Sama kepada Pak Erik dan Kak Gelbi akan mendapatkan e-money sebesar Rp500.000 dan Rp400.000. Nanti dari panitia akan menghubungi secara langsung, tapi mungkin gara-gara Pak Erik Sugiarto lagi di Taiwan, mungkin di hold dulu ya sama panitia.
Nanti bisa
Apa
disumbangkan
terlalu
ke
jauh?
ini Bu, ke panitia enggak apa-apa.
Nanti kami kirimkan ya Pak.
Iya, terima kasih ini.
Mungkin sebentar Pak, dari panitia akan share screen sertifikat best partisipan untuk Pak Erik dan Kak Gelbi. Selamat sekali lagi saya ucapkan. Dan untuk teman-teman semua jangan lupa juga untuk mengisi daftar hadir dan form feedback yang sudah dikirim di room chat oleh operator 2. Bisa ditampilkan? Ya, Certificate of Appreciation akan diberikan kepada Pak Erik Sugianto sebagai best partisipan online di acara kegiatan workshop yang sudah diselenggarakan selama 3 hari ini. Pak Erik akan mendapatkan hadiah berupa e-money atau electronic money, uang elektronik sebesar Rp500.000. Selamat, dan yang satunya lagi diberikan kepada Kak Gelbi. Kak Gelbi mau maju ke depan untuk salaman seremonial dengan Ketua Komite, Pak Noyer Purba. Oh, Pak Ibnu. Ya, akan berfoto bersama.
Enggak, fotonya.
Oh ya, akan difoto.
Siap.
Sebentar. Oke. Oke, terima kasih. Selamat kepada kedua pemenang Pak Erik dan Kak Gelbi. Hadiah akan selanjutnya akan dihubungi lebih lanjut oleh pihak panitia. Certificate of Appreciation diberikan kepada Gelbi Muhammad Faid sebagai best partisipan untuk yang offline di acara workshop kali ini. Acara terakhir sebelum ditutup akan ditutup secara resmi oleh Ketua Panitia Workshop Marine Debris Modeling Using Ocean Parcel in Python, yaitu Bapak Ibnu Faizal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya, Bapak Ibu, Akang Teteh, dan saudara-saudari yang sudah bersama dengan kami 3 hari ini. Saya selaku Ketua Pelaksana bersama dengan Pak Noyer Purba mengucapkan banyak terima kasih. Semoga 3 hari workshop ini memang cukup singkat untuk menguasai secara penuh semua materi yang sudah diberikan, namun harapan dari kami setidaknya sudah ada sedikit dasar yang bisa dilanjutkan mungkin untuk pelatihan-pelatihan selanjutnya. Kami juga berharap setelah workshop ini diselesaikan, kita bisa bertemu lagi di pelatihan-pelatihan atau mungkin dengan kolaborasi riset-riset yang berkaitan dengan software-software ini. Terakhir saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada sponsor yang mewujudkan kegiatan workshop ini, dari British Council, Newton Fund, kemudian dari Pusdi Pengelolaan Kawasan Maritim Universitas Pajajaran,
kemudian dari Mitra Universitas Bangor University, dan juga dari Universitas Pajajaran, kemudian dari Komitmen, dan Yayasan Mosean. Besar harapan kami untuk Bapak Ibu untuk tetap mengerjakan proyeknya, karena nanti kita masih ada best presentation untuk pemenangnya, dan juga memang itu sebagai prasyarat untuk Bapak Ibu mendapatkan sertifikat untuk ikut sertaan di seminar atau di workshop kali ini. Mungkin untuk mempersingkat waktu, saya ucapkan terima kasih kembali yang sebesar-besarnya. Mohon maaf apabila ada kekurangan, kealpaan dari panitia. Kami meminta meminta Bapak Ibu untuk membuka pintu maaf yang sebesar-besarnya. Semoga kita bisa bertemu lagi di lain kesempatan. Saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya.
Ya, terima kasih kepada Pak Ibnu sebagai Ketua Panitia dalam kegiatan workshop kali ini. Baik, itulah rangkaian acara workshop kita yang telah berlangsung dari hari Rabu, Kamis hingga hari ini, hari Jumat. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya untuk seluruh partisipan. Kembali saya ingatkan, jangan lupa untuk mengisi daftar hadir dan feedback yang sudah dikirimkan di kolom chat Zoom. Dan yang terakhir, tentu juga saya ingatkan jangan lupa untuk mengirimkan independent project ke dalam Google Drive yang sudah ada linknya di dalam di grup Ocean Parcel Workshop sebagai prasyarat mendapatkan sertifikat digital, serta untuk akan dipilih 2 orang pemenang, best partisipan pertama dan kedua. Mungkin best presentation. Dua pemenang nanti diumumkan seminggu kemudian, 7 hari dari sekarang maksud saya. Untuk ada pertanyaan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih panitia.
Terima kasih Pak.